Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. This is your host, of course. It's another week, another 30 episode. Welcome to episode 114. I can't believe it. We are at 114, 2+ years of interviewing guests, bringing on leaders, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and those that are doing some positive things in our community. I want to welcome you to today's episode. We are going to be talking about technology, mobile technology. So, those that are into tech, those that want to learn about mobile technology, what it is, stick around because I have a good friend of mine who's going to be coming on and he's going to be telling us all about mobile technology. He'll be talking about our career. Our topic is keys to a successful career in mobile tech. If this is your first time viewing the 30, I want to certainly thank you for being here. If this is your whatever, second to fifth time or 114th time, we want to thank you. Certainly, it's a pleasure coming into your dining room, living room, beach, wherever you are, wherever you're viewing this from, whether you're viewing it live or in replay. Thank you for the opportunity. As I said, my name is Patrick. We stream live each week to YouTube, LinkedIn, and to Facebook, those three channels. If you don't catch it live, you can certainly go to our YouTube channel under the Jackman Group LLC, and you will find all of our episodes, all of our broadcasts listed there. So stick around. We'll be right back with our guests as we talk about mobile technology. Hi, gang. Again, it's the 30. This is your host, Patrick. Thank you for being here. We're going to be talking about mobile technology. I'd like to introduce my guest, a good friend of mine, Ian Dunton. Hey, hello, Ian. How are you today?
I'm very well, Patrick. Thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you for being here. It looks like if you're on the road, you're traveling again. The world of a successful salesperson, leader, someone in the tech field. Looks like you're on the road. Where are you today?
Today I'm in Boston. So I've been in Boston the last couple of days, as you said, right? A mobile leader. It's a mobile world we live in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for being here. Tell our viewers when we say mobile technology, Ian, what is mobile technology first and foremost?
I think mobile technology, first and foremost, and you mentioned we go way back, right? When people wanted to have a telephone in their car and have mobility outside of their office. And when we think about mobile tech today, it's really I always view it as a combination of the wireless world that we live in, the hardware that kind of makes that connection to that wireless network, and then the applications or services that ride on that, right? Mobile technology really encompasses a whole lot of things. I'm in a hotel room on a tablet talking to you live. So it really is kind of all those combinations of things that can make that happen.
It is indeed mobile, right? Before years ago, we'd probably have to, I don't know, be on the phone or doing something. Now we can talk anywhere in the world because of the technology. Now, how long have you been involved with what we call mobile tech or mobile technology, Ian?
Mobile tech goes back kind of to the beginning of my career, getting out of college, and as I mentioned, kind of cell phones were the thing, right? They were the way to the people were connecting to each other back then and got into it. So it's been a 25+ year career in different forms of mobility.
Wow, 25 years of mobility wireless. I remember, and Ian and I go way back. I remember the days of the BlackBerry, right?
Right.
No longer. So if you had a BlackBerry, you thought you were pretty cool. Even before then, if you had a StarTAC, remember that?
Right, right. If you had even before that was a flip phone, right? You had a flip phone, and then you had a StarTAC, and then you had a BlackBerry or something like a BlackBerry, and now it's ubiquitous. Smartphones are everywhere.
Wow, wow. So your career spanned that far. Um, when we say keys to a successful career, what has been some of the things that brought you to where you are now as a leader, as a sales leader in mobile technology?
Sure. Um, I was thinking about it as we were discussing the subject over the last few days, and um, one of the key items for me has just been uh, I kind of absorb the industry as a sponge, right?
Mm.
There's always new things coming. I work primarily in the business to business world, right? Helping businesses connect, um, whether it's a small or medium sized business or a large enterprise. How do they connect their employees either to their back ends or to other customers or even inside, say, a factory? So it's staying on top of what are those trends? What's happening? How do we better take something that may have been a paper-based form just a year ago or 2 years ago, put it in someone's hand and allow them to use it anywhere, right? No longer double entry of taking an inspection on a form and taking it back to the office and keying that information into a computer. I save that step. I save that time, right? It's all about how do we increase things like productivity, uh, reduce costs overall, right? There's always a gap between where you are and your ideal, and how do we help close that gap for a customer?
Right.
But again, the keys, hey, being open, being flexible, being able to move, being able to learn, being able to change on a dime, right? BlackBerry was the hottest thing in the world,
Mhm.
and then it wasn't. Um, so how do you, again, absorb all the knowledge you can? And I think it leads to almost any industry, right? Learn as much as you can, get involved as much as you can, and then learn to be able to adapt to those changes.
So if we were to summarize that, then Ian, you would say learn as much as you can, one,
Right,
uh, adaptation, two, flexibility because the industry changes and the technology changes, right? So
right.
those are three of the things. Anything else, when it comes to your career, in turn with your success? I know where you started from and where you are now. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers that's been kind of dynamic or driven or help you to be where you are at this point?
Yeah, I think again, it's having some not only form of self drive, right? Having some form of uh, uh, you could almost call it entrepreneurship, even though I've worked for larger companies, right? Striving to be the best, striving to be number one in a sales world. I think those of us that come from that sales world have that drive, but also in my case, in a lot of ways, it's been having someone to follow or a mentor to help guide me in that path, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. So you're talking more of a mentor or coach, someone that has
Correct.
helped you, right?
Yep.
So let's take that route. What has do you have a mentor or do you have a mentor and a coach or coach? Who do you surround yourself with that has help you to get to where you are right now?
Uh, I try and uh, so I've had uh, certainly a deep interest in industry leaders,
Mm,
um, without a formal coaching or mentoring program in that case, right? Just
mhm.
following them, understanding them, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on uh, something like YouTube where they're putting out messages. But then, yes, I've had the opportunity in the past to have a couple of very good mentors who were able to not only look at the direction I was taking, but provide suggestions on turns that could be taken. Or I always like the term sharpening the sword,
Yeah.
right? We can be good at one thing, but shouldn't we always be trying to improve in that key focus area? So taking a lot of time to build relationships with them and have that unique opportunity to be mentored by technology. That's mobile technology for you.
That's mobile technology, and that's live, right?
That's live.
We're not cutting it out. This is live. This is what live interview and a live show is all about with
Right?
mobile technology. So,
Exactly.
Ian, if you were to, let's look at an Ian at 20 years old, or someone that wants to get into where you are.
Sure.
What would you do differently back then than what you're doing now career-wise, or even someone that's wanting to break into the field of where you are now?
Sure. So I started out in retail. It was a competitive game, and it was a tough path to be able to follow that from being a young person just starting out. What I do differently today is, as I mentioned, finding that mentor earlier or finding a coach earlier, right? Having a little more guidance early on rather than trying to do it myself.
Mhm.
Let's put it that way.
That's good. What are some lessons in that you've learned along the way that you can tell our viewers or listeners, individuals that may want to go down the track that you've gone into? What are some lessons that you've learned?
I think some of the lessons that I've learned, number one is never give up,
Hmm.
right? Never give up. There's always going to be hurdles. There's always going to be kind of stones in the roadway, as it were. And it's about either finding creative ways to get around them or get over them. I think that's been one of those keys for me, is that whether it's a roadblock or a hill in the middle of the road, you have to find a way and never give up on it. And again, number two, continuing to take a positive outlook on things, right? There's always times when I may miss my quota, or I may not achieve as highly as I'd like, or I may lose out on a big opportunity in sales, and it's if you let it go too far, it can be defeating. But trying to look at the positive and take a lesson out of it at the end of the day.
That's great. That's some good input, good information.
It's Patrick, and you mentioned it, right? I think. Whoops, excuse my mount here is giving me trouble. The biggest thing, I lived through BlackBerry, right? Lived through the highs and the lows, and at the end of the day, you have to come out of it less defeated, right? When something's happening around you and the bridges are burning and you can't control that, how do you turn that into a positive message? How do you turn that into a learning opportunity, and move forward from that in a positive manner?
Great insight.
Thank
And
you.
when we come back, we're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, I want to talk about, you mentioned some successes. What are some of the overall successes that you've had over your lifetime, well, in terms of professionally in the mobile tech arena? And maybe some of the trips that you've gone on that you've earned as a sales leader. So let's talk about that.
Sure.
30 seconds, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right, we are talking to Ian Dunton. He is a sales leader in the mobile technology field. And we just been chatting about what is mobile technology, how do we define it, his level of success, the keys to his successful career. And one of the things that I always like to know, where did, especially from a sales perspective, because we know sales, you have sales trips based on your sales goals and quotas. And also from a mobility standpoint, they have the opportunity to travel. What are some of the cool things that you've done, some of the cool places that you've gone because of the success in your career?
Sure. There's traveled, had the opportunity to travel all of the U.S. and some parts of the globe with the different companies I've been with. Certainly getting out and seeing new things, whether it's part of the job or being treated as part of a sales contest, etc. Hawaii was a great opportunity. I'd never seen Hawaii before, and actually made it a part of a work trip. It was very successful. We've done rollouts with large corporations across the country. Had the ability to work with organizations like the U.S. Navy and General Motors and the city of New York, where I've been able to see parts of their background that I never would have had the opportunity to see if I wasn't in this industry.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. It's really, when you get the opportunity to work with those people, it really makes it feel like it's not work. Let's put it that way. And of course, sales contest, Frederick, it's had the chance to see a lot of the Caribbean and again, some pretty great places across the U.S. where being a sales leader and being a high performer and being driven to be the best has paid off in ways I can't imagine.
That's great. Now, where did you get your drive from, Ian, to be the best, to be successful? Where did that come from? Is it something that you learned, something that was given to you by your parents? Where did that drive come from?
I think some of it is built in, right? Whether it's from nurturing, or whether it's from family, or whether it's from the people that are around you in sales, right? That drive you to be the best. Some of the sales trainers and sales leaders, I'm sure most people don't know that you were one of the first sales trainers I worked with in this industry, and there was a positive feeling from someone just like you, Patrick, that really kind of gave me that extra emphasis to be a better performer, reach for the best.
Great. Let's talk about the mobile technology now, the industry itself, where it's going, where it currently is, where it's going, and what do you see professionally, where this industry is going? And you don't have to give any secrets or anything, because I don't want to get you in trouble with your employer. But where is the industry going? What's next?
That's a great question. If I had a crystal ball, I'd probably have been able to be retired at this point. So, I think there's always changes coming, whether it's in that space of hardware, right? You see the computing power that's in your hand today that wasn't available when I had a desktop computer out of college, right? The connectivity, as you said, being able to touch people, whether it's around the corner or around the country or around the world, at a moment's notice. I think that'll continue to build and evolve. But I also see, again, from an application standpoint or a solutions standpoint in the business to business world, we continue to do great things. We can do things with having GPS and geofencing built into the phone, where I can have insight into my coworkers or a delivery truck or what have you, that at the end of the day, everybody wants to know where their Amazon truck is right now. When is it going to stop at my house, right? We live in an immediate world. So when's UPS going to show up? And if I can see that immediately, that's an impact to not just the worker that works for UPS or Amazon, but for the end user sitting at their house waiting for that delivery.
Wow.
It's really continues to amaze me. And being able to do it, one of the things I emphasize on and have had a lot of experience is the security piece of it, right? Making sure your information is secure, making sure your employer's information is secure, the end user's information is secure. Being able to do that with as many millions of touch points that are out there in the world, how do we keep that information safe? So I think that's going to continue to be a high point for, again, not only businesses, but consumers and end users at the end of the day.
So safety and security of one's information, whether personal or on a business side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you go next, Ian, from a personal and professional standpoint? What's next for Ian Dunton?
That's a great question. I love my employer today. They're fantastic people. I'm lucky to work for someone that does think about the future, right? We're innovative, we're secure, we have a great platform from both a hardware and software standpoint, and we've got a lot of partners that we work with that are fantastic, and I like to work with them. Where would I go outside of that? There's always interesting things coming. There's always new things. There's startups right around the corner that I've worked with that have been just blown my mind. I'd love to work with. I think there's again, continues to be great things from that whole mobile ecosphere. But I love the industry, so I don't see myself really jumping out of that.
I know it's a passion of yours, and it's
Absolutely.
it always has been a passion of yours. So that's great. So as we look down the road so we talked about the industry, we talked about you. What about someone that's new that wants to break into the industry, to the sales industry, the mobile tech industry? What advice can you give to someone that is contemplating whether switching jobs, careers, or simply starting out of college and want to get into this dynamic industry?
Sure. The platform's so much wider today than it was when I got into it, right? It was really a carrier and you worked for a wireless carrier or maybe you worked for a handset company. And those two things went together, but now there's so many more aspects, right? Whether it's, again, talking about the mobility of applications, the mobility of business. Whether you're talking about things like mobile gaming, right? I have a friend that jumped into that industry. If gaming's your passion, there's certainly room in that space for growth, right? You're no longer always sitting in front of your television to play FIFA, right? You can play it on the go anywhere you want. So I think as a starting point, it's kind of learn where your passion is, right? If you have a passion for a particular piece of it, it's a great place to start. If you're looking at uh, the wireless piece of the mobility industry. There's three great carriers in the U.S. that are always looking for people who are hungry, who want to achieve. They're always looking for people to go and assist them to gain their market share, and they'll fight amongst themselves about it, right? And then there's, again, the other pieces in the hardware world. It's a little bit of a tougher industry to break into, but if you can get your foot in the door on one of the other, in an application space or in with the wireless space, it's a fantastic route to take.
All right, Ian Dunton. Before, with all of our guests, and I want to thank you for being here. I know you are in Boston, and I don't want to interrupt your sleep because you have a lot to do. But what we do with all of our guests as we end the program, we do something called rapid fire.
Right.
It's where I ask some questions, a couple, 4 or 5, and I'm looking for quick answers from you. This gives our viewers and listeners an opportunity to learn more about the guests themselves. So
Sure.
Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Favorite food?
Chicken Parmesan.
All right. Favorite music?
Would be 90s rock. wide genre, but.
And you said that with such passion.
Stuck in the 90s.
Okay, stuck in the 90s. Okay, in that realm, what is your favorite artist or group?
Ooh. Pearl Jam.
Okay. Favorite place to vacation?
The Caribbean.
Which island or country?
I like Turks and Caicos.
Okay. All right. It's good.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, but I heard it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's good. I think the beaches were the best I've seen.
I heard it is gorgeous there. I'm gonna have to put that on my list.
You should absolutely put it on. I haven't been to Barbados yet, so we'll trade vacation.
There we go. There we go. I like that. Let's see. Favorite quote?
Never, never, never give up. Winston Churchill.
Very good. Last, in favorite leadership book?
That's a tough one. I always go back to so it's a classic. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right? Dale Carnegie. Yes. Dale Carnegie. It was one of the first business courses I took outside of college, and it was impactful in my life.
I love that book. That's my all-time favorite too. It's a oldie but goodie, a classic.
That's right. Absolutely.
Ian, any last words for our viewers and listeners?
No, nothing really, Patrick. I appreciate you taking the time, allowing me to have some time with your friends and followers. Never give up, right? Things will always, even when you see those mountains or those roadblocks, there's always either a way around them or a way through them, and it's about finding the way and using all the resources you have to do that. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you and seeing what your growth has been, especially in the mobile technology. Just continue success and be safe in your travels. Okay.
I will. I'll say hello to Boston for you tomorrow morning.
There we go. All right. We'll chat soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Patrick.
Yep. Bye-bye. So we've been talking to Ian Dunton. He is a leader in the mobile technology space. I want to thank him for taking the time, for coming into the 30. The 30, we're here. We will see you next week. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. Share it with someone. Make sure that you like it. If you are viewing it from our YouTube channel, which is with the Jackman Group LLC, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and view our episode. So that's about it. Thank you so very much. We will see you next week. May God continue to bless you and your family. Have a good one. Peace.